Welcome back, everybody, to Nexus Gaming Series. Tonight, in the second matchup, we've got Who Knows Gaming versus Spooky Ghosts, and this is coming at you out of B West. And both teams have been waiting for us, so they're ready to go. While they get started in their maps here, or their bands rather, I'm going to just show you the quick overview of the maps we've got. I do want to shout out Emmy for that 5 bits for the cheer. Thank you very much. Our maps here, we do have a couple of bands for Spooky Ghosts. We've got Dragonshire Sky Temple. For Who Knows Gaming, we have Volskaya Foundry and Alterac Pass. Our pick, I'm really excited about, is Brax's Holdout, and that is brought to you by Spooky Ghosts. So you may have already heard the band sounds as we're getting right into the game here. And our first band is going to be Anna. No old ladies in the game tonight. Brax's Holdout. And it's gonna be a little bit of a fun time. Emmy is on the team that's playing. Eminem, not Emmy. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I know there's somebody I know named Emmy, so I'll do my absolute best to call you Eminem. My bad. Kael'thas, Medivh, the next couple of bands here. And Medivh is not one. You know what? We have a stat thing. Let's take a look at it. What is the stat thing for Medivh? Nothing. Nobody's playing Medivh these days. As we get our first pick, Rexxar. Now, I wonder if Spooky Ghosts has a Chen player, because Chen really seems to just shred a Rexxar. And on a map like this where you're hoping to keep that Misha on the point, Chen could certainly be a good counter. But we see the Johanna Malfurion. Not really giving away too much for the team there. So we do see some familiar names. Want to shout out Eric with a K, not a C, who's been casting up some matches this season. Much appreciated. Glad that you could join us in the casting arena. We're going to see Anduin and Raynor. So far, Anduin 100% pick rate for all of the games I've cast tonight. Not saying there's any reason for that. Just, you know, he gets picked. He happened to be the healer on my team watching. You know, just saying. Some people pick Anduin. Call him Emmy. Gul'dan. So again, the Gul'dan Kael'thas band's coming out tonight just across the board. But lots of mages being banned, leaving up so far the Jaina, which combos well with Raynor. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Raynor going over to, Jaina going over to Spooky Ghosts. And there goes the Phoenix ban. And that's fair. I mean, especially if they did get a Jaina. Phoenix. So we see Eric with a K coming in on that Imperius, followed up with a Greymane. So some potential for some good lockdown and burst in on a hero. And that's the first time we've seen Imperius tonight. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at Imperius' stats so far for B West, shall we? As soon as I can remember my alphabet, we'll get right on that. Pretty good win rate, 67% of the games that he's been played. And Jaina ETC, so not surprised at all to see that Jaina picked up. And I'm a big fan of the ETC, so no complaints on my side. Let's see, who else do we have? Raynor, we had, it was on Rexxar, and Doc. On Anduin. Trying to get my overlay set correctly so that I can get those player pops-ups. So we see the Genji coming out. So Genji, this is a great map for Genji. Allows the fast rotations between top and bottom to help potentially get that gank in on that Rexar. Also has a little bit of boss cheese. Let's see, is that right? Yep. I'm having to go through and make sure that all the names are even set correctly because I didn't have time to do all that. So looks like I've got them all set. Awesome. Unless people changed. Nobody changed, right? You guys didn't change, right? No, looks good. So game number 1 on Braxis Holdout here. This time I did remember to change my overlay. That's hilarious. Tell them to log in on their own Twitch. Get some extra people watching this show. We're all the way up to 9 people. 20% increase in the last, I don't know, hour. So, little bit better Zerg clear on the side of Who Knows Gaming. I think if there's a big Zerg wave, it's going to be a little bit harder for Spooky Ghost to clear that. They've got the Greymane poke. I mean, you know what? Johanna can kind of go into it and just soak it, I guess. Just stand there and take damage. But it's going to be a little bit harder for them to do that. So I expect them to be looking more at camps, hopefully getting some kills, and then getting pressure through maybe the boss. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to screw up some names. We got a wolf and a little wolf. And they're going to fight each other at some point, and I'm going to have issues. Lupus throwing off those big taunts along with Eminem. So let's get these players. We got Shinkaigen on Jaina, Wolf on ETC, Eminem Hitman on Raynor, Lupus 64 on Rexar, and Dr. Ziegler on Anduin for Who Knows Gaming. On the right side, Spooky Ghosts, we've got Little Wolf on Genji, Calidius on Malfurion, Boundary X on Greymane, Rogoth on Johanna, and Eric with a K on Imperius. Jaina holding on to that level 1. Okay, I was going to say, this is a globe talent game. Look at all these sprays coming out. It's all kinds of variants with question marks. And Flare for the Rexar. So probably a good pick. That gives him the moment, an extra moment anyways, to get away from that potential rotation gank coming up from the bot lane. So I do think I like that pick, just in general. And Jaina already at 3 globes. We do see that bold strategy out of Anduin as well, so a little bit longer flash heal, but gets the benefits of both of those level 1 talents. 4 and 4 in the bot lane. A little bit of skirmish. Lane pushed up slightly from Who Knows Gaming, getting that wave clear advantage out of the Jaina, and the pressure from Raynor as well. And at level 1, going to that ace in the hole, comboing well with the ETC and Jaina as well. And we do see block party for Wolf on ETC. A little bit surprised by that. I guess it's for the Greymane, but I just feel like the Genji darts probably negate that pretty quickly, but we'll see how this goes. Big old poke battle here as both teams trying to get what damage they can. And the Raynor getting caught by a root. But that's it. Six globes for Jaina. Just doubled her hero damage with that combo there, up to almost 600. And Genji here now coming up. Let's see what happens with Genji. The flare, again, covering that entire point, but not quite where Genji is. He's aware, but he's actually going to go ahead and head down. So they take the point at top. Blue has bottom. And now Imperius is going to go ahead and start doing some damage to that Misha. Misha doesn't really care. In the bottom here, though, we've got back to the 3 versus 4 now that Raynor is on the camp. So Spooky Ghosts are going to get on that point and hold on to it. And in the top lane, once again, Imperius versus Misha. He does try to get that stun onto Lupus, just barely misses. So fairly evenly balanced between these two teams here, as Blue is going to start channeling here. Boundary X in a little bit of trouble. Greymane trying to get out, and will be able to do so. Imperius stops that charge up in the top, and Misha just barely missing as he dives over the wall. Eric with a K popping that molten armor and trying to get some damage in on that Rexar. And with that, Genji getting to the top, slowing down the potential for them to continue channeling. And in the bot, we've got the camp that provided enough pressure to get that first turret down, get that wall down, really open up the game for Who Knows Gaming. On to the point is Johanna. Raynor, I believe, missed with his penetrating around there, but trying to get this damage onto Calidius. But Raynor so deep, now taking tower shots, and it is going to be first blood, killing off the Terran. And with that, now that frees them up a little bit more easily to have more value in the top lane here, getting these two onto Misha with Genji and Imperius, and that is going to be a dead bear, giving potentially some channel now over to Spooky Ghost, but they got to get the rotation down, as 3v3 in the bot lane. They do get pushed back off of this, and Raynor on his way, but Imperius is coming down now, maybe looking to get a gank here and provide some big value into this. And ETC gets pulled away just in time to save from that celestial charge. Holy cow. Anduin making the plays. Good catch from Dr. Ziegler there. Four versus three in the bot lane, and now we've just got Imperius back in the top. And level 7's now online for both teams. Back in the bot lane, Johanna on the point, keeping that from channeling in Blue's favor now. And Root going out onto Johanna, Rogoth pulling back, and ultimately that will get the channel going, as both Johanna and Genji very low. Genji using his tap, and obviously getting that Q heal from Calidius. Q? W? Yeah, Q. And now they're going to have a full wave here, and with Raynor and Jaina, they can easily get this tower. They might even be able to get at least the well, maybe? If they... because there are only two here. Imperius up in the top lane with Genji means that they have the advantage in the bot lane if they push it. But instead, they're going to go ahead and come and get this siege camp, get that started. And realizing now that they're not on the point, Spooky Ghost coming in, trying to get some channel, but Anduin being very aggressive here. Pushes off the Johanna, and ETC power sliding in onto Greymane, knocks back Greymane, but it's going to be a root that keeps ETC locked down for just a moment. And the channel begins once again for Who Knows Gaming. Just passing the 50% mark, getting this siege camp and allowing that siege camp to provide them the value. Up here, though, Imperius gets that celestial charge onto Rexar, but not really able to get anything further. Trying to kill Misha, or at least push her off the point so that they can get control. But back here in the bot lane, Malfurion's coming back with a full health bar, full mana bar, and there goes this well now, but ETC getting very low, about half health. Genji trying to dive in, get him finished, and the flash of light coming from Johanna, but not in time to finish the job onto that ETC. And they will move in onto the point, knowing that ETC is fairly low. Now below, gets healed up by the Anduin. And Root caught onto ETC, and Ironskin being popped by Johanna onto the Jaina, trying to catch up. And Genji diving in. Oh man, Jaina has so little health there. Shinkaigen just barely making it out. And level 10's coming up here soon, so looking to make a play happen somewhere, one of these teams, but ultimately they're going to go ahead and back away. Spooky Ghosts maybe trying to get that camp so that they have the pressure against the Zerg wave, but top's not given. And level 10's now online for Who Knows Gaming, is now Rexar is going on to the point, leaving Misha to stay onto Eric with a K there. And they'll begin this channel. And they did not end up getting that camp, so they're just trying to get to 10, which is coming up here shortly. So we see the Mosh Pit, Bestial Wrath, the Water Elemental, Hyperion, and Holy Word Salvation for Anduin. For Spooky Ghosts, we're going to see the Dragon Blade, the Twilight Dream, Go for the Throat, Blessed Shield, and whatever Imperius chooses. I assume it'll be the shield. Loads of top lane pressure, and all they've got is Greymane cocktails to slow that down. And with the Hyperion, this is very likely going to be a at least the fort. And I mean, with as much health as those backline Zerg have, and there's the Mosh Pit coming in, only hits one. Genji and manages to get out thanks to that Twilight Dream coming from Calidius. And in the bot lane, we do see Jaina taking out Imperius. Shinkhaigen bringing the plays without a water elemental. Getting stuns onto a couple of Spooky Ghosts there as they're keeping this pressure up. They still have the 3 ranged Zerg, and as long as they can protect them, they'll get some structure value out of this. Dr. Ziggler by himself, just left to his own devices by his team. ETC coming back in to try to save him, does do so. I can only imagine the comms there. Hey guys, by the way, I'm still here. And now, Who Knows Gaming setting up to take this camp here, which I would have liked to have seen Spooky Ghosts do when they were kind of hanging around for 20-30 seconds, but ETC is going to power slide into the Genji. He does get the root coming from Anduin. What's that called again? Condemnation. It's let's take a look. Anduin, what's your talent? Chastise. That's what it is. And now, after taking the first camp, they're going to come up here on the second camp. Eric with a K, the only one entirely by himself, gets power slid and deleted. 1v5, you hate to see it. And now the level 13 is coming on, giving the advantage to Who Knows Gaming. Once again, everybody, this is B West coming at you. Season 7 Nexus Gaming Series. Make sure you check the calendar at the end here, as I'll be posting that for my next upcoming matches and casts for this weekend. And now, Spooky Ghosts a little bit on the back foot here. They're trying to find what can we do. The only camp available on the map is the boss. Where can we safely soak? And you know, I think this is questionable. I think if you're Imperius, you let it come to you. You have no idea necessarily where the rest of the team is, and they're taking advantage of that. And this could be a very big problem for Eric with a K. And there you go. And now, 2-level lead in favor of Who Knows Gaming. They've got the pressure in the top lane with this camp and the Hyperion getting the structure value. And now they're heading to the boss. They got that Imperius kill. They've got the full advantage on levels. And this boss should be going, what, bottom? Yeah, probably bottom. Or it'll go top. Boss doesn't care. It doesn't listen to me. Does what it always wants to do. Throwing the taunts up for the overhead observer, giving everybody that level 100 plus taunt on the Rexar. So keep in mind, yeah, you've got a couple of people on this Who Knows Gaming team with level 100 plus, so maybe go back and double check at the beginning of the game. Maybe those are heroes that you want to keep an eye on from this team. So Rexar pushing in the top lane with the boss, and we are seeing a nearly full channel here. It'll be coming up soon. And the Zerg wave's going in the bot lane. I like what they're doing. They're coming into this top lane knowing that the team has to defend against this boss, and it's not going to be long before the Zerg wave comes in the bot lane and will finish that keep easily by itself. This could be the end of the game for Spooky Ghost if they don't find a way to get a kill here and slow down this Zerg wave and this push. And this boss still has 30% of its health. The Celestial Charge goes in, but there's the Holy Word Salvation. ETC charging in, but the Big Condemn pulls out the mosh pit immediately. Malfurion is going to be the first death, however. ETC very low, but Little Wolf in trouble on Genji. Pops a whole lot of that deflect, but gets no kills. Shinkaigen very low as Greymane also diving in to try to get a kill, but all that Red got out of that play was a ticket to the graveyard. And we do still have a pretty significant Zerg wave, and Eric with a K not fully respecting the amount of damage that Zerg does. And this is going to be game number 1 going over to Who Knows Gaming. Popping off the sprays at the very end there. All right, so quick peek at the talents. We'll start with the stats because I'm already on this page. We got 41k from Greymane, so lots of hero damage on Greymane, but again, they didn't have a lot of Zerg counter. And even if you completely ignore the fact that the Zerg is a thing on this map, you can get all the kills in the world, but if the Zerg comes out, they're going to do something, and they provide a lot of value. So you have to at least have some kind of wave clear, and I think that having just the Greymane is really where they got behind in once the first wave came in. And obviously the second wave, they just couldn't really do anything about. They were already behind. 7 kills to 1. Healing, we do see Dr. Ziegler with that healing about 10% more than Malfurion there. Really solid leap of faith there, keeping people alive. Those talents. All right then. No, Braxis is not a very forgiving map. You make a couple mistakes, you send yourself to the graveyard, and it can snowball quickly. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and take a short break while we wait to hear from our teams as to which map we're going to next. So enjoy this clip of whatever commercial I give you.
Impressive, Archer. But you'll need to do better than that.
You have no idea what I am capable of.
Good. Because you must be ready for anything. show promise, Hanzo. Well done. But greater challenges still await us.
I believe we are ready.
It's time to find out.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Just a quick take a look at the maps here. So last game we went to Braxis. It was a pick of Spooky Ghosts that was won by Who Knows Gaming. This time, Spooky Ghosts wanted to have the first pick, so Who Knows Gaming is taking us to Infernal Shrines. Let's take a look at the standings just real quick here. So let me highlight these teams as they're both pretty well getting ready here. And it looks like we are going to get things started. So let's highlight these guys here real quick. So Who Knows Gaming and Spooky Ghost there at the bottom of the standings currently after week 1. Keep in mind though, that's one loss. That's it. Just one loss. Not a big deal. And tonight, one of these teams will be going home with at least 2 points. All right, so last game here, we saw Ana, Medivh, Kael'thas, and Kel'Thuzad in the top 4 positions. Let's see what we get out of this now. Do they maybe consider banning some of those higher priority heroes? And it looks like Kel'Thuzad is going to be the first ban this time. Followed up by Ana, so very similar circumstances as to the last round. Porky, thank you very much for the follow, as well as Lazy Hydra. Glad you guys could join us this evening. Welcome everybody, as the rest of NGS, I think, is starting to wind down a bit. Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that, Emmy. Eminem? Hitman. I could call you Hitman. And so we're going to see Jaina this time instead of the Kael'thas in the first round of bans. Everything else following the same as last round. And I think we see why. Because they wanted to rip that Kael'thas this time, so there you go. And Kael'thas brings, you know, he's got some pretty good value on this map. Allowed to put the living bombs onto the minions. If I ban Master Olsen. You know what? I don't honestly even know how to ban people. I suppose it's probably fairly easy, but I've never actually had to look at it. So, Master Olsen, I got my eye on you. So we're going to see Raynor Johanna this time. And again, Johanna as well, getting a lot of value onto the control points here with the Skeletal Defenders. Especially if you take that, I don't know the name of it, I'm sorry, but the level 4 talent. Oh my goodness, there's a bidding war in chat over bans. I love it. And let's take a look and see what Johanna looks like in the B West meta. 67% win rate, not too shabby overall. As we see Boundary X picking up the Phoenix and Little Wolf on the Lucio. Interesting. Oh, you know what? The other one I wanted to look at was Kael'thas. How is Kael'thas doing in the B West meta? Does he get picked much? 21% pick rate. Not an insignificant amount. That's a fair amount. 25. Get back up there. 25% win rate. That's very low considering how often he's banned at 47%. Once again, the Anduin pick. Anduin's been a very impactful hero, and there are a lot of good positions for Leap of Faiths in this map. And interesting. I have not seen Azul. Let's see, has Azul seen any play in B West? My guess is no. He doesn't come up that often. But let's take a look. What do you think? 0% across the board. And I imagine if you are Spooky Ghost right now, you kind of probably look like the Varian spray that Who Knows Gaming has as their logo. Sonya and Anubarak being the follow-up. And then Orphea. So very dangerous combos coming out here from Who Knows Gaming. And I need to finish up the list here. So I'm going to pause on my talking for just a moment here. Let's see. Eric is playing Sonya. Boundary, Phoenix. Neil. So interesting change in roles there. We didn't like change people. No, we didn't. Interesting change in roles there. We see Lucio, or I'm sorry, Little Wolf going from Genji to Lucio. I'm dual wielding credit cards and can go all day. Oh my goodness, you guys are great. Cage, thank you for the shout out there. I appreciate it. And here we go. Game number 2 between Who Knows Gaming and Spooky Ghosts. Take a look at this team here. So right out of the gate, we've got Who Knows Gaming, the blue team. We've got Wolf on the Johanna, right? Yeah, okay. Making sure my overlay was correct. We've got Shinkaigen on Orphea, Lupus on Zool, Eminem Hitman on Raynor, and Dr. Ziegler once again on the Anduin. And over here for the red team, for Spooky Ghost, we've got Little Wolf on Lucio, Rogoth on Anubarak, Calidius on Kael'thas, Boundary X on Phoenix, and Eric with a K on Sonya. Oh my goodness. Fun times tonight in NGS. We love to see it. Thank you very much, Master Olson. I guess you're not getting banned tonight. I love it when I get bits for doing things that I don't even know how to do. Or not doing things in a way, I guess. Take a look at these talents. Party mix coming up for the Lucio, which I see often. And I know a few Lucio players who would break their mind if they saw that. But I understand it. Makes sense. Living Bomb getting transferred over there to the Raynor. And Wolf also about half health on both of those heroes. Anubarak looking for those globes, and Orphea going into that Q build as opposed to the E build. Some changes that happened with the patch last week. The gravity lapse onto Johanna, but now she's got Living Bomb spreading it to the Anduin. And both teams skipping past their siege camp. And while we have these teams now, oh, there we go. Who Knows Gaming looking to get started on the bottom. And Zool coming in, getting a root onto Sonya, trying to slow down those auto attacks with that cleave. But that charge, what is that? Spear throw from Sonya, able to keep her onto that Zool and get a little bit of damage. Bot camp taken in favor of Who Knows Gaming. And Spooky Ghost grabbing their mid camp. And don't forget, these Impalers increased in damage by about 30% at their base. So they do a lot of damage now. Don't want to see them left alone. Rotation coming back up after clearing the bot lane, pushing that wave of XP. So we're going to see at least a couple of minions of XP missed for Who Knows Gaming. Probably a couple of minions missed in the mid lane, I'm guessing, at one point there for Spooky Ghosts as well. Level 5 for both teams. Very close in XP at this point. Nothing really to get on the map other than their siege camps, which ultimately will, you know, get cleared out fairly quickly, but it's a short distraction for whichever team is not going into the point there, or I guess whichever team is going into the point if they leave it up. Shrine is active. This first Punisher is going to be a Mortar Punisher, and it's going to be Spooky Ghosts that get to the point here first. Gonna get started on clearing these minions, and they do have that Kael'thas. Fairly short cooldowns to get those AoEs with that Flame Strike and Living Bomb. The Nubrak gets rooted, and here comes those charges at Living Bomb out onto the Zul. He has to pull back so he doesn't get the Living Bomb spread. 13-4 so far, but a Nubrak very low is going to make it out. The root onto Sonya, however, she spins to win. Gets followed up on another root and just barely avoids that chomp. They are going to pull back, and now 14-4 currently in favor of Spooky Ghosts, but they are dealing with this Shaman camp that has just started to get damage onto this wall. And now with that brief pause, they're a little bit behind, so coming back in here, they're all funneling in together. Good thing Kael'thas is on their team, as big damage going out onto the Anduin, but it's going to be a Nubrak that takes the brunt of the assault from blue, and Wolf going in, keeping the enemy team pushed back, gets pulled back to his own team by Leap of Faith, and now 37-39, and the first Punisher of the game going over to Who Knows Gaming. And Sonya, needing to get this XP, comes down into the mid lane. I expect to continue to see her go down to the bot lane. And Phoenix getting obliterated with the Punisher damage, but then followed up by Raynor. And now this fort just dies. There's not really anything that they can do to stall that out at this point. They can't even really get onto the Punisher from where they're at with what they have. First fort of the game as well, going over to Who Knows Gaming. They do get the jump over to the wall, so this Punisher will go down fairly quickly. And now they're gonna try to clean up this mess in front of their wall before they lose a turret, a tower, I guess. Three camps available, as Sonya's gonna go ahead and get started, and Eric with a K all by himself gets rotated on by all 5 members of Who Knows Gaming. In comes a Nubrak from behind, but the root goes out onto Sonya, and Phoenix trying to get that laser all over the place, spinning. The invade is going to be successful, and they get the kill onto a Nubrak. Can Phoenix get the warp? He's just a little bit too late, and that's going to be a kill, followed up by another Q onto Lucio, and a 3-for-0 on that camp invade. And Eric with a K going to the bot camp and getting caught out by the team showing up. And I wonder, did Sonya get the... She did not. So no root cleanse coming out from Sonya, or at least not self cleanse. Do they have cleanse? I guess it depends on what Lucio takes at 10. Might take high 5, but otherwise not really. Bot lane with their level 10s, they're going to get this camp. They're going to take this fort, and right now the momentum is heavily in favor of Who Knows Gaming. What do we got? We got Blessed Shield. We do have the Frost Mages from that Zul. We've got Orphea with the Crushing Jaws, Hyperion, and of course Holy Word Salvation once again. And, you know, we didn't look at Orphea's stats. Maybe I'll go ahead and pop those up for the stream while we watch as Who Knows Gaming systematically moves around the map and gets as much structure damage as they possibly can. As I lock onto a player. And now level 10's coming out for Spooky Ghost. So we've got the Phoenix, but Phoenix went into Purification Salvo. We've got Cocoon, the Leap, and Sound Barrier. So still no Cleanse, which is fine. They do still have a camp here in the mid lane that's doing some damage. So just a quick peek at Orpheus stats there for you. How often she's coming up into B West. Both teams getting their siege camps going in the game, getting those shaman to start putting pressure in the top lane. And we've got Eric with a K going to the top, trying to see if he can clear up the lane and give their shaman camp as much value as possible. Of course, the periodic catapults going in favor of Who Knows Gaming. And realizing this, they will clean that up and get the pressure going back in their favor. No shaman camp for Spooky Ghosts, and top lane now becomes a problem that they have to deal with. Sonya trying to soak that XP in the bot lane while her team clears up the top, and nearly halfway done are Who Knows Gaming. No camps available. Got a minute basically until they start to spawn, other than that camp that they invaded earlier. And it looks like Spooky Ghost's gonna elect to stay back on this one. And I expect this fort goes down. And knowing that they have all the advantage at this point, they come down here. Who Knows Gaming gets this siege camp to provide additional pressure with the Punisher. And Sonya trying to be safe about soaking in the bot lane. But now they know that Sonya's not here, so this is going to be a very hard push. They've got a full Punisher, which of course is melting. Purification Salvo goes out, but the Salvation protects most of that damage. They still have their siege camp as well. I think this is a keep here, but here comes the Sonya jump in onto Orphea and Johanna. Johanna goes into a Cocoon and a Nubrak diving in deep. And Sonya trying to get the damage onto Lupus, but just look at those cleaves coming out from the Zool, doing so much damage. Slowing those auto attacks and keeping going. They have 20 seconds now until anybody can do anything on Spooky Ghosts, and they're moving on to the core. They've got the Rainer to keep that consistent pressure going. They have burst damage from Orphea. They've got the Zool even, and they're going to go ahead and back out. They've only got a couple seconds till the rest of the team is here. And Rainer trying to get the last bit that he can onto that core. So almost half of the core, 48% of the core is gone. And that shield will start regenerating here shortly. So not a super fantastic place to be in if you are Spooky Ghosts, down 3 levels, just about to be 13, so you can get that talent tier and be on the same talent tier. But you gotta find a game, you gotta find something here at some point soon before level 16 is online. And it looks to me, Who Knows Gaming saying that they want the fight. Zool gets the root out onto a Nubrak. He burrow charges away to keep that from landing. And there goes Rainer, just obliterated. The Salvation goes out, but gets interrupted by Sonya, and she's spinning to win. And here comes the Crushing Cross onto a Nubrak. Zool cleaving once again, trying to keep himself up and do as much damage into the backline as possible. And it just keeps going. Phoenix followed by Zool, both of them dead. Little Wolf trying to stay onto the Johanna, keep her down. 200 health, but does get healed back up. But it's going to be Sonya that goes down. Anubrak taking loads of damage, tries to get back in onto Shinkaigen. But Orphea, being the tap dancer she is, just dodges away. And now 16's online for Who Knows Gaming. And you know what? If you're the blue team right now, I don't feel like that was a win. You gave them a big boost in XP. You didn't wait for your level 16s, which could have provided, you know, even more value. You know, you definitely kept them on the back foot, but I don't think you really gained anything from that. But that's okay. It was a 2 for 2. You're still in this game. You're still very strongly in favor. You've got the momentum. That was just a quick reset, and now looks like they're going to come down here and invade this camp once again. And I don't want to see them go into this. Eric with a K saying he doesn't care. He'll go in. And I think that's going to be a dead Sonya. In fact, it is. And that was not the time you want your solo laner to go in 1v, basically, I think it was 4 at the time. Not with as much lockdown potential as they have between the Zool and the Johanna and the Anduin, and technically even the Orphea. And now they'll have this Shaman camp in the top lane, the Siege camp coming in the mid lane. They've got to deal with both of these lanes. They have to wait for Sonya to come back up anyway before they can really make a play. And I think they try to get as much XP as they can out of this and get 16. They're not taking the Punisher at this point. They need to have 16 before this comes in. They're positioning rather forward for these minions. But yeah, I think Sonya should come down and just clear this before, because now this is dangerous. This is damage that starts on the shield. Not a lot. They only got a couple shots, but every little bit helps when that Punisher gets here. And now you've got a frozen Punisher, so this structure is going to get shut down. They need to get a kill, and they need to get it quickly. Get their 16s, lock them in. Leap onto the Sonya, the burrow charge in, and Sonya leaps into the backline. There goes the Purification Salvo. Lupus, big protect, and down goes Sonya, followed by the Enumerak. Root hits onto Lucio, and Phoenix does get away, but here comes the Punisher, pounding him into the pavement. Has almost no health. Johanna trying to keep him from regenerating those shields, and might be a kill. It is. And ladies and gentlemen, I think this is gonna be game number 2 going over to Who Knows Gaming, as there is just nobody left to mount a defense. A very dominant performance in this Infernal Shrines game coming out from the Varian with question marks team. All right, taking a look at these stats, 16-2. See if we can get Wolf to join me in allow me one here. Take a look at these stats. Orphea doing loads of damage there. I'm surprised to see Zool's hero damage so low, considering all of the cleave damage he did. Healing, big numbers coming out from Anduin, doing 20%, 30% more than Lucio there. So a fantastic game. That game was very heavily in favor of our friends over here at Who Knows Gaming, and with me now is Wolf coming from Who Knows Gaming. How you feeling, buddy?
Pretty good.
That was quite a dominant performance in that game.
Yeah, that was mildly unexpected, because we played them in Heroes Lounge and they beat us 2-1 last time.
And so those games, obviously 2-1 being in their favor, was it was a little bit closer just in general? Because I felt like both of these games were pretty heavily dominated in your favor. Like even the Braxis game, yeah, they had some answers at times, but overall the overall feeling of that map was that it was always your game that you kind of brought to them.
Yeah, they were closer in Heroes Lounge. It was a different little set for us. We had a sub. We were playing without our normal healer, but we're playing with Lupus, this is technically the first game we've actually played with him, and he's our new offlane.
So, and do you always play tank? Because you played ETC and then Johanna, right?
Yeah, I almost always play tank.
So tell me, when you guys go into that game one and you've got the ETC going into their Anubarak. No, they didn't have Anubarak. That was last game. What am I talking about? They had the Johanna. So Johanna did have a couple of really good interrupts, but what's the setup there when you guys pick that Rexar? Who I got to shout out the 100 plus level taunts that both Rexar and was it Jaina that had that?
It was Raynor.
Raynor. Okay, I was gonna say Raynor, and I was like, nah, it can't be Raynor. Nobody plays Raynor 100 levels.
Yeah, our Raynor does. Eminem Hitman, yeah. His Raynor, Vala, and Jane are really high up there.
Hold on, I gotta take notes for later. Raynor, Jana, and Vala. Okay, got it. And they banned a whole lot of mages against you guys both games. Like,
yeah.
Do you guys just have somebody who just rips mages and is just amazing on them all the time? Is that Shin Kaigen?
Yeah, Shin Kaigen played mage almost exclusively in Lounge, and we got on a tear with KTZ to where no one would let him play that anymore. And then the one time he got to play it after everyone just bans it, it was Spooky Ghost, and they played Medivh and just absolutely shut us down.
So you guys have some history, which explains the Medivh bans, which explains the Kel'Thuzad bans, and some of those circumstances. So makes sense. Makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, it was.
No, go ahead.
No, yeah, we're just picking at what we knew from previous plays, I think. And Shin Kaigen's only ever played mage for us.
Sure. So Lupus coming onto the team tonight, playing for you guys. Now, is Lupus going to be a regular member, or is this just kind of a one-off thing because of the schedule? Or
he's going to be the regular member. He was suggested to us from our previous off lane. Like, he knew him and said that he'd fit really well with us, and he did. It was great.
Well, it was quite an outstanding performance there between the Rexar and in the second game, the Zool, which was a bit of a surprise. Have you guys played? You said you haven't played with Lupus much, but have you played with Azul much? Like, how much confidence did you have in that setup?
I'm pretty confident in whatever they want to do. We can just pull it off, more or less. It's always fun. It's even if we're going in with no practice with what we're doing, I'm confident they can do what they want.
Well, there were a couple of team fights there. One of them was on the aggressive camp invade. One of them was on the mid keep, where Zool just cleaved for days. Dude was up forever, just cleaving everybody. And it was a sight to see, because you don't see a lot of Zool in competitive play, so it's always fun to see how that works out, and getting on a map like Infernal Shrines, getting that increased haste very quickly can just be devastating. You guys had some really good rotations, and you caught some mostly the solo laner Eric with a K out a few times. What's your communication like when you see somebody kind of positioned ahead like that? Is it the solo laner calling, hey, I need you guys to come up here, or is it something else? Like, how do you make that work?
It's a little bit of both. If they point out that they're really far ahead, then we'll just rotate as a team and go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's mostly how that was. And if we're roaming S5, it was just watching the map as close as we could.
Sure.
And seeing them out just a little far, especially once we got structures down.
And what do you guys have any like pre-game rituals, whether it's game or match or what have you, that you kind of do before each game?
Not really.
Okay. So some teams will do like discussing about how they win the game or what their CC chain's like, or everybody will just go AFK and grab a beer or whatever they do. So I just like to ask some of those questions and understand a little bit more about what your guys' team is like that makes them tick.
It's just really laid back. Like, it started out with me and Eminem Hitman, and we didn't know how to get 3 other people in Heroes Lounge, so they gave us 3 random people, and one's wasn't able to play with us anymore, and we didn't even have a game plan starting that first season.
Right. And so this is your first season in NGS, correct?
Yes, so this is our first season in
Gotcha.
NGS.
And you're the captain.
Yep.
So what has your overall experience been like so far in NGS? Not necessarily, obviously, somebody said, was it you guys that had to forfeit last week?
We did have to forfeit last week. We were having really bad internet connection. We actually we moved to a whole different house, got set up there, and then Shinkaigen's internet crapped out, and at that point we're like 50 minutes past our start time, and we went ahead and just called it at that.
That's right, I remember that. I think Arcane was trying to cast that, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So, well, that's unfortunate, but you guys got a big domination victory this week. So that's going to put you a couple of levels up in the standings. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and wrap this up. If you've got any shout outs for chat or your opponents or your next week team that you get to play, the floor is yours.
Just shout out to my guys. They came in and did what they were supposed to, and they just let me eat damage. So they make my job easy.
Fair enough. Put your face in front of them and let them do all their work, right?
Yep.
Good deal. Well, thank you very much for joining me tonight, Wolf. I do appreciate it. Congratulations again on your domination victory over Spooky Ghost. Oh, I didn't even put the extra point up there. I'll have to do that right now. And also, I do want to thank you and Spooky Ghost as well for being patient, waiting for the cast to finish on my earlier game, and allowing me to be present for your full match here. I do appreciate the patience.
It was fun.
Great. Well, you'll be able to check out the VOD here on my channel. It'll also be posted on Twitch, or on YouTube. So once you guys get your match results posted, don't forget to do that. You'll be able to see that here, I think, probably tomorrow morning. So thanks again, and have a great night.
You too. Bye.
All right. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to wrap us up for tonight for this Thursday night of Nexus Gaming Series. Thursday night being, of course, the most popular night for all of our matches. So I do know that a few matches did not get cast tonight, but don't worry, we'll get those on a replay cast this week. I know Ziltoid's looking at some of those. I'll be picking up some of those. Maybe some other people will be picking up some. So thank you, everybody who stopped by tonight. Baron Kyle, thanks again for the follow in chat there. I just caught that now. It's been a pleasure hosting this evening, and let me show just real quick here. I mentioned earlier that I was going to show you my schedule coming up here. So we do have a couple of games this weekend, one on Friday, one on Sunday evening. Sunday's going to be a very busy day because I'll be throwing down some replay casts starting at 2 o'clock, whatever is left for me to do so. And you know what, if you want to come watch the Regen Phoenix team play against Rush B, which is essentially going to be a halfway Div C Grand Championship rematch from last season, well, hopefully we'll have a caster by that time. Anyways, once again, it's been a pleasure, everybody. My name's Arrow. You can find me on Twitter at Warrior Arrow. Pretty much the only thing I ever put up there is my schedule, but that'll keep you in the loop. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.